The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.
Hello and welcome to another Soccer to the Max. And we are here. Of course, MLS is on their 2-week break. Rachel is not with us. She is working. Technically, she just got off work, but we kind of already scheduled the show, probably having done it while she was still at work. So just because we already had it figured out this way, hopefully she will be with us next week. Erik is here with me, so that is a grand old time that we're going to try to have here.
Don, you got lucky this week. Just saying.
Tom got lucky this week, huh?
Yeah,
Not having to face the wrath of Erik.
No, you took the words right out of my mouth. I mean, we had the whole thing with scheduling, but now that MLS is on a break, nothing major. Everything is copacetic for the time being.
Well, we'll have to see how that goes after they come back from the break. But, yeah, so basically a large part of our conversation here today is going to be about the Gold Cup, since they just wrapped up round 1, phase 1, however you want to.
Match day 1 of the group stage.
I don't like the whole match day one. That's so confusing when you've had 3 match days, technically.
Yeah, but it's all match day 1 because it's the first game for each team.
That's why I just like the round, or in Spanish we call it the phase. Just that's so much easier to understand. But because they called it match day 1, 2, 3, whatever for the Confed Cup, like this just doesn't make any sense. Can we get one way to say this, please? Just one. It's not that difficult.
Well, okay, blame England and blame us here in North America. They say round, we say week. Brazil, it's probably something completely different.
Right. So, anyway, I guess we should just go ahead and get the United States out of the way. That way we talk about the United States, we can get them out of the way, and we don't have to be like Fox and talk about them every other segment, because we think that nobody's going to watch if we don't talk about the United States, it just makes them look bad. And if they do that during the World Cup, it's going to make them look even worse.
Which they probably will.
That's what was so great about the Confed Cup. They had to actually pay attention to the teams that were playing that day. They were also really unfair to Mexico, and they're continuing to do it again. But, this is how rah-rah USA Fox works. So, I'm so glad that ESPN stopped doing that after the 2006 World Cup, where they realized, we really need to focus on what's here and not make it all about one country, because that's what happens when the U.S. gets knocked out. Then it's like, Depression City, we don't know what to talk about. It's just...
Yeah, maybe Fox can find a way to explain what's going on with the FIFA rankings. Because even for me, being a math guy, come on, FIFA.
They tried to explain it, and I can understand what they were saying, because it makes no sense.
Yeah.
At this point, I think we've all learned that just don't take those. Just don't take them seriously, because it doesn't really matter. I mean, it matters for. What's sad is it matters for the World Cup draw. So, these rankings that should not matter at all, freaking have to, be a big deal.
Exactly. I mean, they were even a big deal in determining World Cup qualifiers for CONCACAF. Boy, did we get lucky.
Well, we will. I will use I take that back. I will use Rachel's little report here on, I shouldn't say little, because she goes very in depth here on her NWSL report that she does every week for Real Sports Entertainment Network, which you also write for as well, Erik.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to use that here as a basis for us sort of talking about things, but hopefully we have Rachel on next week. She'll be able to elaborate more on what's been going on for the last 2 weeks. But anyway, so, for me, it's Panama. It's their toughest draw. It's the team that we know plays the United States the hardest of almost any other, other than Mexico. Panama seems to have this thing with the United States. They've fought in so many Gold Cup games. I think they said it was the most common opponent for the U.S. in Gold Cup. So,
yeah,
they know each other. So,
yeah, in the fact that in Panama they would love to spoil our little party, because in 14 Gold Cup participations, this is the first time we did not win our opening match. And I'm not going to lie, I didn't expect us to beat Panama. 1-1, a very common scoreline with these two teams. We had chances, but I'm not going to cry about this.
No, I mean, I don't think we created very good chances. I thought that, I think also people got really hooked on how they played against Ghana and forgot that that's a friendly.
Exactly, and forgot that, and even I forgot about this as we scored that goal, but again, you need two strikers. Tom Dwyer is awesome, but there's only so much he can do by himself in that setup.
I don't know that it was necessarily a two-striker problem. I think it was more about you're having guys play positions that they shouldn't. Like, I think Rowe needs to be more in the center and not play out on the wings for me. I understand that puts Joe Corona in a problem or whatever, and I thought Acosta didn't play very well either, which is not normal for him. He was just kind of, I don't know, I don't want to call it lazy, but he was just kind of there. And he wasn't being his normal, let's put the pass in the right spot, get the guy going through the channel. I thought Juan Agudelo looked really good when he came on. Him running on the wings and stuff like that. And I thought Jordan Morris looked pretty good. You just got to have guys that actually want to go into the 18, into the 6, besides Dom Dwyer, and want to score. Because it seemed like if you're not getting Dax McCarty and Kellen Acosta to do what they're supposed to be doing, you got to get it another way. And that seemed like the U.S. were not capable of doing that. And then Panama figured out that all we have to do is be faster than the U.S. backline. And when you have Villafaña and Zuzi, who are not very fast.
No, speed kills.
Yep. I like Omar for the headers and everything else, and I thought Beasler he had a Beasler game, just, I don't know, needs to be more organization there.
Well, I think because Bruce said all 23 players are going to get time in the group stage, I want to see, now that we've got the draw out of the way, how is he going to tinker to, I guess, essentially prepare for the quarterfinals?
Yeah, get to know who's good. I mean, the problem is, and Martinique actually showed, I guess we should lump these two together because they're in the same group. Martinique showed some good stuff. I mean, especially going forward.
Even though Univision showed the wrong flag up in their display.
Yeah, it was hilarious. But yeah, I think Nicaragua I thought looked better than I thought they would be, but that's not saying much.
No.
Badisman, dude could still go out there and be playing for a important team if he wants to. I think U.S. need to be careful with Martinique. Don't get overconfident and start 11 new guys and think that you're going to take this team apart, because it may not happen that way.
I think 5, 6 at the most might be the magic number, and even with that, Martinique has showed they will go out, especially their number 10, run up the pitch, find themselves in the right spot, and boom, back in the net.
Yep. So, that's all it takes, right? And I give credit where it's due. All the minnows showed that you need to take them a little seriously, because, Jamaica scored 2 wonder goals that got them to win, but Curacao was outplaying them at times.
Well, keep in mind, with that one, they had just played in the Caribbean Cup final 2 weeks ago.
And Jamaica had also just played.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was expecting a little bit in that first half, honestly. Yeah, I get that you're playing in front of a near empty stadium, but come on. You had at least a legit shot at maybe going top of the group. Had the Mexico-El Salvador result bounced your way, show a little bit more energy. Thankfully, in the second half, Jamaica did. Curacao tried, but
that first goal shouldn't have happened, because that goalkeeper shouldn't be beat like that. He was off his line the wrong way, gets beat near post. The second goal, that was just like, what are you doing, defense? You're just sitting here watching him kick the ball to himself up in the air, and then he kicks it. It was an awesome goal, but still.
Yeah, they honestly thought that he was going to take a shot from deep, because that's what Jamaica had kind of started to do. Right. And then when they realized that he didn't, they were kind of screwed.
Yeah, and then Jamaica they had sewn things up at that point. And Curacao kind of looked out of it, but, just that's interesting, because now Mexico plays Jamaica on the next day that they play, which I think is on Thursday. And Mexico, El Salvador looked good at different parts of that game. How quickly they returned the first goal. What a beautiful little pass to Celaya, and then Bonilla just puts it right in there. Basically just passes it in. And had they scored that second one that did not go, might have been a different game if they'd have tied it up again 2-2 very quickly, but they didn't.
No.
And yeah.
Kudos to them for trying, because whenever they got into the 18, it was pressure. They didn't let the ball go too far back. They tried to keep it even right on the end of that attacking third, but Mexico just got more compact and collapsed around the ball, and time eventually just ran out as Mexico kept doing that.
Yeah, they just, when they would get, and they would, for everything you want to say about El Salvador, they were very technical. They found ways to get into the behind Mexico's defense. Just when like you said, you get in the box and then wham, everything is like shut tight. Not to mention, it helps you have Jesus Corona back there and not Donis Escobar, who was just flailing around. That last goal should have never happened. What are you doing that far out from your line? And then you go back and you're just flailing around again, trying to.
I still don't know. Flailing, trying to do the split, the little jazz hands.
Then he gets hurt, which that was nasty. He took a kick to the face, basically.
Yeah, hey, a boot to the head, and he's like, yeah, I'm alright. Yeah, I'm alright. Wait, why does it hurt to move? Yeah, I'm alright. No, I'm not alright.
Now my leg hurts. I wasted 10 minutes of my team's time. Mm-hmm. And what bullcrap about the whole... Now, I guess it matters because it's the team... I don't know if this is the rule. The team that's losing, they're the ones wasting time. But I don't understand why FIFA makes this stupid rule about we want to make sure the 90 minutes get played. The dude was down for like 10 minutes. Why are you getting 3 minutes of injury time?
They talked about that, and I was thinking to myself, yeah, between all of that, and yes, with the stretcher, and then yes, with the keeper, 5 seems reasonable. I saw the 3 go up, and like, okay, is this because it's a 3-1 game and you don't think El Salvador is coming back? If so, then you'd kind of need to...
If you give them 6 minutes, though, they have a shot.
Yeah.
I think it was more about... I wonder if TV plays into that, too, sometimes, because it's like, if we go too far over the time that we're supposed to end... But they're going to get upset because they can't,
Yes, but they immediately showed a replay of the U.S.-Panama match afterwards.
Yeah.
That serves no purpose. Not to mention, TV was having a couple of issues for what they tried to do with the infamous Mexican goal kick chant that they missed a couple of times.
Oh, they missed a bunch of times. So funny. Of course, listening to it on Univision, they didn't even bleep it out, so...
Well, of course they weren't gonna.
It's just... Like... I get it that it's offensive or whatever, but...
Yeah, I get the whole it's offensive, I get the whole it's homophobic, but as I tweeted out, putting in artificial noise on the FS1 broadcast, that's not gonna work. Finding the team, that's not gonna work. If you really want them to shut up, you either have them play behind closed doors or disqualify them. That's going to send a message. And I don't think CONCACAF or FIFA...
Yeah, but the team's not responsible for what the people do.
Oh, really? There's precedent here.
I know, but they're not attacking anyone. They're just saying, listen, like, I get it that they have suspended teams for throwing bananas on the field and...
Or burning swastikas into the pitch.
Right, but that's different than a small group of people saying a word, and it's like, technically this means bitch in Spanish.
No, it's with the A with its bitch. If it's with the O, it's closer to fag.
Right. But it's like, I just, I'm not saying that, it's just like, why isn't security going and ejecting these people?
Yeah,
that's what they need to be doing. Eject the people that start chanting it.
Yeah, and I totally get where you're coming from. I'm just saying, FIFA and CONCACAF have put themselves into a corner. These captains making the statements pre-match, which is a great move. And all of the signs, how they were saying in Spanish, save your voice for goals, don't shame anybody, and this and that. I think that's a great move. But if you're going to put out this message and take this sort of a stance, you, by nature, have to do something big when this happens. Otherwise, you're the ones looking stupid, not the fans or the team.
Yeah.
Now, if they'd taken a different stance, then yes, I would be even more on board with what you're saying, but they've painted themselves into this corner.
Well, I mean, it's not like Mexico hasn't come out and said, hey, you shouldn't do this, blah blah. Like, but that's where you have security and you have it around the stadium. As soon as you hear people behind you yelling at you, go, okay, you're out of here. Just start ejecting them. Well, if you gotta do it one by one, eject them. Be like, we are going to eject anybody that we hear yelling that out.
Mm-hmm.
And if we gotta eject the whole stadium at Azteca, then that's what we're gonna do. Because we can't do this. We can't have this. We can't have it on TV. It's terrible for TV. You know, what about when we host World Cup games?
Exactly. And that's why I say, fine, don't fully disqualify them. One match behind closed doors. One. That'll be enough.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's hope that at that point it works for them. So the two groups that we have talked about, Martinique actually leads the group with 3 points because they beat Nicaragua 2-0. Panama and United States drew 1-1, so they are second and third right now. Mexico defeated El Salvador 3-1, and Jamaica defeated Curacao 2-0. Group A was also very interesting. Alphonso Davies had himself a day against French Guiana. The defense let French Guiana back in. Alphonso Davies closed it. There was parts of that game where Canada looked really good when they actually decided to give it to Alphonso Davies, that is. And then there was times where the defense looked really bad, especially on those 2 goals.
Canada, you know how I love you. You know how I would aim for dual citizenship. The special Canadian shenanigans I would get into given an opportunity. My friends in both Toronto and Winnipeg and Vancouver, for that matter. But come on now. You're better than this. As a fantastic of a player Alphonso Davies is, you can't completely rely on a 16-year-old to bail you out. That will not always work.
No, I won't. But, I mean, that team is a mix of youngsters and older guys. And
yeah, credit to them for what they did. Not knocking you for it, but that could have easily been 4-0 instead of 4-2. I'm just saying.
That's on the defense, though.
That's what I'm saying. Don't be lackadaisical, and it's like, hey, we're playing a French overseas department. We got this in the bag. And then all of a sudden, oh crap, they're actually a legit football team. Whoops.
Yeah, let's see what they do against Costa Rica.
Oh no, they're going to probably get blown out of the stadium against Costa Rica. That's why I'm saying, Canada, be careful.
Yeah, the Honduras game is going to be very important for them. I think that's going to wind up being a play-in, a win and you're in kind of situation.
Mm-hmm. They need at least a point out of that in order to get them in touch with, at least in my opinion, Jamaica for best third.
Yeah, I think right now Jamaica's shown themselves as the best third. At Curacao, that was the game to win, I think, in that group. Because El Salvador now has to win the game against Curacao, and it's going to come down to the El Salvador-Jamaica game. So we shall see. Maybe one of these teams can nick points or whatever. Same thing with the United States now has to have their butt in gear against Martinique, and it may come down to the Panama-Martinique game. So so far I think Gold Cup has been really interesting. Getting to see a lot of players that you don't see very much of play well. I've really liked. Like I said, I really liked the way Martinique played. I liked the way Curacao played for most of that game. Jamaica turned it up in the second half. El Salvador's looked good. Just the United States need to play better.
Yeah, this is a very good tournament, especially since it will be the last one for 12 teams.
Yep.
If this one keeps up, I can't wait to see what it'll be in 2019 when you have 16 teams.
No,
and
CONCACAF, you'll get the Guatemalas and all those in.
Yeah, because CONCACAF, get it right. Make it a little fair. 2 more Central American, 2 more Caribbean. Don't
sure
start
that's what they're
going to
do.
Yeah, I want to say yes, but I still have to caution them. Don't play favorites.
I agree with you, but I think that we're probably looking at, say, a Haiti probably making it a lot more often than not. Guatemala making it more often than not. Probably, Cuba might make it more often now.
Maybe Puerto Rico.
Well, yeah, how long has it been since Puerto Rico was in? I think I like the idea.
Give them a big win before they officially become a state.
I also like the idea of just having straight up 2 teams go through and not having to do the best third thing.
That makes it better.
But this tournament's also different because the head-to-head matters for goal difference. So
I like that.
They should institute that more around the world, but they don't.
Yeah, FIFA, poke.
We are going to have Open Cup to talk about starting tomorrow. So.
Oh, the geographical blunders that is the Open Cup.
Cali Classico at 10:30 tomorrow. Are you ready for that?
Jeebus.
And then Sporting KC in Dallas is going to kick off during the Costa Rica-Canada game.
Okay, considering how there are other multiple commitments that we've got going on, U.S. Open Cup, we need to sit down and talk about this.
And then it's Miami and Cincinnati are going to be on during the United States and Martinique game.
Hashtag Cincinnati ain't South, damn it.
And then you got New England and Red Bulls on Thursday. They should have just went ahead and played both those games on Wednesday, but whatever works for these people, I guess. So that means we got a Thursday show in the midweek. That's because that's when the Mexico-Jamaica game doesn't kick off till 10:30.
What? Oh, yeah, because that's one of the Western ones.
Why must you do this?
Not to mention our other commitments from Mondays and Thursdays now.
Yeah. I mean, we don't have games on for those, so that's not that big a deal. We're still not in training camp, so that's just studying a little bit on the teams that we got to do and, gathering up whatever news there happens to be.
Right. It's not a matter of research. It's a matter of timing. That's my argument.
Yeah. So
Lamar Hunt would be so pissed off right now.
I don't know. I think he'd be happy that it's getting attention. I just hate that, I wish ESPN could pick up another game or something like that because that was good for that Cincinnati-Chicago game.
It was, but ESPN is in full summer league basketball mode.
Well, and they got the international champions thing that'll be starting up pretty soon, too. Starts up next week.
Oh, wow. Oh, boy.
Which the only thing I would think about even covering is whoever's playing an MLS team. Because I'm not going. I mean, if you want to watch like El Clasico or whatever, be my guest. But we don't have enough time to be covering all that. That's too many games going on. So,
Hashtag fixture congestion.
Yes, lots of fixture congestion. Thank God that we're not one of those that try to. I don't envy the people that try to cover the Premier League every week or whatever, and then try to do Champions League at the same time. Like that's nuts. But
there are people out there that should be taking a hint at what you just said. I say no more.
Yeah, I just, you gotta remember there's so many, like, I'm not an idiot. I know there's like 30, 40, I remember looking at the list that MLSsoccer.com had at one point. I think there was like 40 or 50 podcasts that cover American soccer now.
Cool.
So, like, I'm not dumb thinking that we're the only ones out here. So, I mean, the reason why Steven does so well on his is because he literally is one of the few out there, so, American soccer's come a long way of people really caring about it and really wanting to cover it, and there's people that get paid with sponsors where they have daily shows, so, I listen to one where they have a daily, but they cover everything, but they also have good enough sponsors where they're making a little bit of money off of it so they can afford to do that. If I was getting paid to watch soccer, sure, I'll watch all the soccer I can fit in one day.
See? Night Owl, Hostess, Boston's, I tried.
There
Not
you go,
my
people.
fault.
Come on, do it. Alright, so, and by the way, the Costa Rica, Honduras, I think lived up to everything you wanted to. The Central America Classico.
Yeah, it really did. I was wondering, I was like, okay, I know these two are like Central American, like, hot shots, but I think, it wouldn't be, they don't always play that great of a game. Boy, did they prove me wrong.
Yeah, the goal by Costa Rica finally went in. Honduras, I thought they took too long to bring Elise on. And then just, it didn't seem like they were getting him the ball enough, and that they didn't really. Costa Rica was playing. They were positioned well defensively. Just, I don't know. They could not get anything going in that final third, hardly at all, until late, and it was too late for them at that point.
Yeah, but then Costa Rica had already had him, and they were done. But that's also going to set up, as we've said, a little bit of extra intrigue going later in the tournament. So,
I'd like how they set this up, where the big teams all got their big opponents first.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of adds more intrigue to the later matches.
Exactly, to where they would only be played in half-empty stadiums.
All right, so let's get through this. Right now, we only know the Fan 11. For the MLS All-Star Game, which takes place August 2nd. Of course, this is also where VAR will be introduced to Major League Soccer. We got Tim Howard in goal, Greg Garza, Graham Zusi, DeMarcus Beasley, Bastian Schweinsteiger,
Ha!
Miguel Almiron, Kaká, Michael Bradley, David Villa, Nemanja Nikolic, and Sebastian Giovinco. I don't think you can argue with the forwards at all. Bradley obviously has played pretty well for Toronto FC. Miguel Almiron, Schweinsteiger, they deserve their spot. I think you could even make a case for Zusi, even though he showed with the U.S. men's national team, he's still got a long way to go, I think. But with, MLS, it's still a bit different. Tim Howard has been very good for Colorado. And obviously, being Tim Howard, that's going to put you over a Bill Hamid or Joe Bednick or some of the other guys.
For a Fan 11, fans love names.
Right.
Fans love names that have a little bit of history and a lot of good things attached behind it. And fans love names that are thrown into your face week in and week out.
But then there's names like Kaká that it's like, why?
because of the old prestige. You have those rabid ones, even some rabid Orlando City fans.
But he hasn't played very well at all.
And it's still the name. It's still Kaká. You don't think of him recent memory in Orlando City. You think of him for when he got there, and Sao Paulo, and Brazil, and over in Europe. And this is kind of my point. That history got him a fan spot. So I
but
get
there's
it.
other
I don't
midfielders.
like it. Okay, put yourself in the mind of
No,
them.
I know why he got in. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying if they did a really good job of voting in mostly players that have been playing very well.
Yes.
Just the Kaká and Greg Garza and DeMarcus Beasley, I think you can give a pass to. He's been okay.
On the fence. On the fence.
But yeah, Greg Garza and Kaká just kind of stand out as like, really? There's better guys. But,
and again, that's where the whole name recognition kicks in. I'm surprised that it's only 2 whiffs instead of like 5.
Right, and technically it's the fan 11. It's not
exactly. That's why I say fans. We're not always rational thinking beings, especially in mass.
I just appreciate that at least we got for soccer we got this mostly right. It's not like in other sports where it's like, why the hell is this guy going to the All-Star game?
Well, I mean, it just shows that how fans are educating themselves when it comes to soccer. I don't even get me started with some of the voting for like the MLB All-Star game or the NBA All-Star game for that matter.
The Pro Bowl just suffers from like half the people decide they don't want to go when it comes down to it. And then 20 other people become All-Star, Pro Bowlers that shouldn't.
If the Pro Bowl were to listen to me and some of the ideas I have for that game, it wouldn't be as much of a problem.
Okay, so, alright, the only thing we got left here is I'm going to try to quickly go through this thing with Rachel for the NWSL. So the Boston Breakers Chicago Red Stars drew at 0-0. It looks like Abby Smith didn't get the start, so it's still Sammy Jo Prudhomme as the starting goalkeeper this time. But Smith it still has her record not broken so far. I think this is where also you had the red card business happening with Alyssa Chapman getting 2 yellow cards. And just it's later on we'll see like straight reds happen. But so Boston Breakers Chicago Red Stars draw. Need to look at where the standings are for this. Sorry, I should have probably read this beforehand, but we're doing this in kind of. It was something I decided right at the last minute. I'm like, I think I can wing it, and I'm not doing a great job of winging this right now. But Chicago's still second with 24 points after that, and Boston goes 2 weeks without losing, so that's a plus without having Rose Lavelle. They're still second from bottom with 13 points, barely edging out the Spirit. That's because of Washington Spirit and Orlando Pride drew 2-2. Ali Krieger was back for the Orlando Pride, which they were missing her very badly, especially because, Ashlyn Harris is out with injury right now. Mallory Pugh got both the goals for the Washington Spirit in the 24th minute and the 90th minute. And
still no Hostess ice cream. Yes, I'm still going to talk about that. That's going to be a thing until it isn't.
Alex Morgan actually they made her starting debut here for the season after playing with Lyon, and Pugh was actually given a penalty kick at the end. That's how Washington got the draw. And Alex Morgan was not happy about it at all. She made it known. She said, giving up that PK in the end, I feel like that has been the story of the year for every team in the NWSL. PKs have been given out way too frequently. I'm not sure if they're all deserving. It's unfortunate so many games have been decided on PKs. Ouch.
Oh, referee controversy, it will never die.
Oh, maybe the NWSL needs to go get some VAR. Could you imagine those referees with VAR?
Yeah, maybe the YouTube would be incorporated some way into that league and its infrastructure.
You are still going on about YouTube here. Orlando now in 6th with 16 points. Washington still at the bottom with 12 points. After that here. So Sam Kerr gets a big hat trick. We talked about her last week, as she is now tied with Megan Rapinoe for the most goals scored in NWSL before coming in here, and now she completely has the lead after scoring her 3 goals. And her coach says she's been playing at a completely different level. She got her goals in the 78th, 81st, and 90th minute. What a way to get a comeback for your squad. Just big win for Sky Blue FC. That's pretty awesome that you don't see these very often. So, kind of demoralizing probably for Kansas City to lose right there when you at least thought you'd secured a point.
I mean, losses like that are always crushing and just, ugh. That's going to be a bitter taste.
Yeah, but again, awesome night for Sam Kerr, and just drama happening for Sky Blue as they now sit 3rd with 22 points, and and Kansas City sits a point from the bottom, tied with Boston in 8th. So that point that they missed there, or even the 3 points that they should have had, would have really helped them get out of that bottom scrum. But that is the way of this game. It's very, very
fickle.
Yes, fickle, unfair, whatever you want to call it. North Carolina Courage continue their winning ways, 2-0 over Seattle. Best team in the league, they are for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, in seeing them the couple of times I have seen them, I can't spot out too many flaws in their style of play, and it's like, you'd be lucky to try to get a draw against them, and ugh. I just hope at the point of where they are not like teams past, they have a fantastic regular season, and then come playoff time.
Ouch. And then the biggest controversy of the whole week was Houston Dash and Portland drew 1-1. But the biggest talking point here is in stoppage time, Carly Lloyd gets shown an automatic red for a foul against Mallory Weber. Everybody was pissed. Social media was in an uproar. You had Amber Brooks for the Dash giving the referee the middle finger. I mean, it was just ridiculous. And She even went on Twitter and said the refs in this league are an absolute joke. It's embarrassing and needs to be better if we want to call the NWSL the best league in the world.
Okay.
Talk about you're going to get a fine pretty quick.
Get your checkbook out for that one. Yes, you're going to get
I
a
think
letter.
honestly what it is that this league has, we talked about it with the pay thing, right? They need to do what MLS did and start up a program to get these referees to be better. Because
start up a program, create initiatives for full-time referees.
Yeah, Carly Lloyd said she didn't deserve the red on that one. That the coach said she didn't deserve it, so they are appealing it, and we'll see. The Dash interim coach Omar Morales, the consistency of the refereeing in this league is not there. It is the most efficient part of our game, unfortunately. The biggest thing is, do they watch these games and do they learn? Is there a growth factor there with what they do? Or they just come, do a game, and go home and sleep it off? It has impacted a lot of people, but apparently not the referees.
This, because you're at the point where it's kind of too late to make changes for this season, because you're roughly the halfway point, but going into next season, yeah, I expect some major changes.
And also you had, once again, Houston letting, in this case, Lindsey Horan for Portland score in stoppage time, 90+1. After the Dash had held a 1-0 lead since the 8th minute. Not good.
Nope, you gotta close. You have to close.
Yeah, exactly. You've got to close. It's just, they're not doing it. And right now, that's why Houston is in the shape that it's in. They're doing better with Carly Lloyd back, but right now they have been able to climb out of the fire, but not so far. They're at 14 points, only 2 from the bottom. And Portland is at 19, sitting in 5th place. So that's how your table looks right now. North Carolina in 1st, Chicago 2nd, Sky Blue in 3rd, Seattle 4th, Portland 5th, Orlando 6th, Houston 7th, KC 8th, Boston 9th, and Washington Spirit still last right now. So they play again on the 15th, which is just, on Saturday. The lifetime game is Portland and North Carolina. And then, you have the rest of the games, with one of them being at 10 o'clock on Saturday, I think. No, I think they're all on Saturday this time. Yeah, there's no Sunday games, just the one at 3:30 for lifetime. You got Sky Blue Chicago at 7, Orlando and Kansas City at 7:30, Houston and Washington at 8:30, and Seattle and Boston with that 10 o'clock. So, all right, Erik, I'll give you a little bit here to discuss this idea that you had for NASL.
Okay. During this whole Gold Cup fiasco, because Xfinity thinks it's smart to give me FS1 but not give me FS2, rant aside, I was able to watch some of the matches on Univision, specifically Univision Deportes. Very great network, although it is kind of weird and a bit of an adjustment to hear a Bulgarian speaking Spanish. That's beside the point. During these matches, they hyped up 2 main matches that's going on in Liga MX. La Supercopa, which the winners of both your Apertura Copa winner and your Clausura Copa winner, which how those teams can manage fixture congestion playing a league and a cup at the same time twice a year, kudos to them. But they also have the Campeón de Campeones, your Apertura winner and your Clausura winner. And I thought to myself, for the NASL, they finally got the season structure right to where your spring and your fall tournaments are the same length. In this case, 16 weeks. Now, under their current structure, you have the fall winner, the spring winner, host semifinal games. And then the rest of your bracket is filled in by teams from the aggregate table.
I just want to point out that there's been a lot of talk of, like, MLS should do this or whatever too. But are you talking about having the Apertura and Clausura thing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, I think MLS is honestly way too big. Once you get past really 15, 16 teams,
yeah,
it's
but
not...
doesn't Liga MX have 24?
No, 18.
Oh, 18, okay.
Yeah, the 24 is for the Copa MX, and that uses 12 from Liga and 12 in Ascenso.
Yeah, because if you're going to have 28, oof.
Yeah, 28 and eventually 32, no, you can't do that. But how they have it in the NASL, then once you get to your semifinals, you have your one-off semifinal, and then the winners go to the Soccer Bowl. Now, what I suggest is this, copying from the Liga format, to where you cut down the schedule from 16 games to 14. Everybody plays each other twice.
Mm.
Those extra 2 weeks, a top 4 playoff, where you have your fall top 4 teams in the fall, duke it out, semifinal, final. Same thing for the spring. 14 games, week 15 would be your semifinals, week 16 would be a final. If you happen to have 2 tournament winners, that's your Soccer Bowl matchup. If the same team wins both, then you could have the losing finalist with the best aggregate record and work your way down from there. That's your Soccer Bowl opponent.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and from there you have your big one-off match, neutral site, so you wouldn't have to worry about any home field. You could pick it in advance and have a time set up in the calendar where it's plenty of time to prepare. Off you go.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I think that's a good idea for an NASL. I like the way they do it in Liga MX. I just, like you said, for MLS, it's too big.
Because as is, if you're looking at...
Well, for me, I just think that MLS needs to go to the... I wish they would just go to the European style and just... You play home and away for everybody and drop the crap with the conferences, but that's just me.
And at one point, I think they're going to do that. But if they get to 32 teams, and I'm still an advocate of this, because let's face it, Don, I know you're not going to stop at 28. You should. But...
Well, didn't you say that, though? That if you're going to go to 28, might as well just make it 32?
Exactly. And I'm of the mindset that he really needs to stop at 24. But since you're
he's not.
Exactly. Since you're already going to 28, the next step would be 32. But my point is, when you do that, don't even go home and away twice. Go home and away once, and then an additional derby match. 32 games. That's it.
I don't know. I think it's just easier just to do the...
If you're gonna try to make it to...
Well, no, they can't do 64 games. They have to figure out something.
This is what I'm saying. You don't do home and away twice. You do home and away once with an additional derby match to even out the schedule. That way, it's 32 games.
Well, hold on. So how does the EPL play 38 games and they only have 20 teams?
Because they go home and away twice.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Rather than a double round robin, MLS would be a single round robin plus a derby match. That way you guarantee an even 16 match home schedule for every team.
So you're saying a derby home and away as well?
Yeah, derby home and away. For the rest of the league, it's a single round robin. You can't just do a straight single round robin because it would be an odd number of matches.
Yeah, so you could still have your rivalry week.
Yes.
Twice a year.
Yes.
That means you probably wind up playing that team 4 times then.
How would it be 4 unless you count the playoffs?
Well, if you're doing home and away and then you're doing another home and away with that same rival.
No, I'm talking not another home and away, just one more match. Like, say, for example,
okay.
Yeah, because say, for example, Seattle and Portland.
Oh, I'm also counting them as I'm dumb. They can't play themselves.
Right,
Yeah,
that's why I say it would be for 32 teams, you would have that odd number of matches in 31. That rivalry match, the second one, would create a 32-team schedule.
Right. There you go. 32 games, and if they want to do 34, you could do an extra rivalry game or whatever they want.
You would have to guarantee everyone plays the same number of home games.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying we have 34 games now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if they wanted to do 34 again, they just have to figure out something else.
No, they would probably stick to 32 because then they would expand the playoffs.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they would have to because you have 32 teams, so you'd have to do 16 getting into the playoffs or whatever. I guess they could keep it at 12.
No, they would expand to 16.
Yeah, or at least do 14 or something. But yeah, I think 16 makes the most sense.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I think that's going to do it for us. Again, we'll be back on Thursday for the midweek, where we'll be talking about round 2 of Gold Cup games, phase 2, whatever.
Match day 2.
Which is dumb because they do match day the numbers for every other tournament except for Gold Cup.
No, I've seen it as match day 1 for World Cup, and they go each of the groups. Then match day 2 for each of the groups. Match day 3 for each of the groups.
No, they don't, because they do it for everyone, because that's how you get to the match day 65 or whatever the hell it gets to at the end.
No, I've never seen it done like that.
I don't think
I'm serious. They do day blah 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 when they recap World Cup tonight, but that's day.
It's confusing though. Just call it round or phase or whatever. Like it's the day. If you're gonna use day twice for 2 different things, it's confusing.
Not really. I know it's day whatever. Oh, match day 2 in the group phase. Oh, day this. Oh, this is the semifinal. Day this. Oh, it's the 3rd place match.
Fine. We will, whatever. Thursday we will talk about the second, the more group games, okay? More group games. Trying not to say that because we're going to get into this conversation again.
I see the fact that you hesitated. I know you wanted to.
I wanted to say second round of games. But anyway, so we're going to talk about those. We'll talk about the quarterfinals of Open Cup. And then, we'll be getting you ready as well for the next set of group games, that final set, and of course, NWSL as well. So, all right. Well, hopefully you enjoyed this. If you did, please hit the like button or hit the subscribe button, which would be great. That way, anytime we do a podcast, whether it's for the midweek or the Sunday edition, or just, if we did a special one or something like that, then, you get it right there. And you don't have to do anything. All you do is hit refresh on your player, or maybe it just downloads and shows up automatically. It's right there. If you really want to let us know how you feel, whether it's positive or negative, you can hit a review on iTunes or Stitcher or YouTube or on W2Net.com. You can leave a comment on the post for this podcast, or you can go onto our podcast page on there as well and say what you'd like. But we appreciate all of you that do listen, and we will be back again on Thursday night, Friday morning for Erik and myself. We'll see you later, everybody.
I want to play some top 11. Peace.
The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.